Jonathan, thank you for this interview. I think it's a pleasure for me to do this with you. I will start with the first thing, always, the title of your show. Why the Black Wall?
Okay, thank you for coming first, Huat. It's always a pleasure to receive you, and I'm sure we're going to have a nice time together. The title is Black Work. Black Work is the traduction of l'oeuvre noir. It's alchemist process, and I wanted to bring alchemy on as a metaphor of the painting in general, and at least my painting. Indeed, alchemy is a true pure creation process, like painting, to make a mix of basic elements in order to have something which transcends the sum of these components. Okay. So like the color in the painting, you mix them to bring something to another level. The alchemic process is seeking to find some deeper knowledge which allow us to grow and to evolve. And I think this is the meaning of the painting and art in general.
Okay,
what I'm looking for.
Okay, so you talk about alchemy. I'll come to that later on. What is your DNA, the alchemy? I think the second question is more interesting for me is the man, the artist. Okay, I see the paintings, and I have heard sometimes they say, Pollock, when you look at his painting, you can imagine the man. Can you describe a little bit about the painting, and is it you in there? A little bit about your history, maybe?
Oh, it's a vast question. I think yes, it's a lot of me in my paintings, because I always try to do it with a meaning. I have a atypical past, and but I can explain it now. I made first studies of veterinary school, and I learned there the basic of the genetics, of the physiology, the amazing complexity of the living being, and all the scientific process. And then after that, I made a study of osteopathy and after acupuncture. Okay. And these studies gave me a more holistic point of view of the world. It is this curiosity, I always try to find a knowledge, not like a bookish sense of the term. Accumulation is not interesting me here. It's a knowledge which is more maybe deeper and allow you to evolve and to grow. It's like how humanity gift, to do that.
You say evolving, so are you evolving?
I try to. So I made these studies very scientific first, and then more holistic, and then I discovered the creation. And I use it now like a magic tool to scratch the real, to see what there is behind.
Okay.
I was raised by two artists, visual woman artists, and so I didn't study art, but I was living it when I was young. So I came back to my root. So I didn't discover from scratch. And now what I try to is, as I said, use the painting to put some concept together, to link things, and to maybe summon the principle of serendipity to find new things and to grow.
Okay, so finding new things. So from the man to the painting, now you talk about evolution, you talk about changes in your recent history. So now a little bit about your art, maybe?
Yes.
Black and white.
Yes.
Suddenly.
Okay, we come back a little bit to this series, Black and White, Black Work. My personal agenda was to go back to the essential of my painting. Okay. Because I started 6 to 7 years ago, the painting, so I'm a very young artist. Okay. The discovery of art was a breakthrough for me, so I went in a lot of direction. And now this period in Kuala Lumpur was the moment for me to go back to the fundamental, why I was painting. Okay. That's why I tried to use the simplest technique possible, just 2 colors, and it was my way to go back to the essential.
And then the event, what is your purpose? I mean, we have spoken before, you said maybe the purpose is no purpose. So what ideas do you have for the event?
You know, when you're a visual artist, time to time you need to confront your work to the people. I have no ambition for this particular expo. Just share with the people where I am and see their reaction. And maybe one thing, if with all this area in black and white, go back to the essential, I discovered that for me it was not the duality of these two colors, the black and white. The important for me was how you can connect this color. If you take the time to see the nuances, if you see all what you can build from just two things, the complexity, this is the magical process. To see the difference in the term of capability to mix rather than direct duality and opposing things.
Okay, so you talk about the four things. I was reading your bibliography just now, a little bit, your biography. You have movement, yes. And then you have the sense of the life and the humanity of your paintings. And you also talk about space and time.
Yes.
These four things, do you still carry those issues with you or those energy with you?
Yes, I think so. When I started to paint, I was looking after the movement because I come back from the scientific and holistic studies, but about life. And for me, the movement was life. But then I have other subjects coming to my conscious I want to explore too. My modus operandi when I work is always the same. I try to be the more free exploratory work possible to do that. And when there is a track seems to be interesting enough in aesthetic point of view or conceptual point of view, I try to stop on to develop it into a series of painting in order to present it to the public. So, but every series takes something from the other one.
Of course.
So I can't say I abandon one theme to another one.
Okay.
It's always mixing. For me, it's very global.
Can I bring you to two people that helped me to look at art? You know, one is English poet, Pound, who talks about the vortex. And I think you know a little bit about this idea of the vortex, something that comes from the beginning, and then at the top you have all these variation, you know. What do you think? I see that because in that movement, which was very short in England, maybe 5 to 6 years, he talks about poetry and music, you know, everything has to have a vortex. And I think there's a vortex there. Do you want to talk a little bit about that idea of where the core of your work is?
Yeah, this term vortex, it brings a lot to me when you say it. I think art in general, but like science or like religion, they're all a different way, but to look and to understand the complexity of the world, you know. And when you talk about vortex, in the science, in the religion, or in the arts, it's always maybe one theoretical point to go back to the essential. You know, maybe for a religious man would be the illumination. For the scientific would be bring the micro law to the micro law together, and maybe for the artist, I don't know what
they call it. Pound call it primary pigment. Yes. Even in the poetry, there's one color. There's only one color.
Yeah, to bring back to the essential.
To the source. Yeah. The second thing I want to ask you is about this interview, you know, Cioran, Emil Cioran. He talks about, he says something like, the bird has no heart to sing when there are a lot of questions in the forest, you know.
Yes.
Do you mind this kind of questioning and all this interrogation? Do you think your art needs an explanation, or are you happy with questions?
I mean, answer. I'm not looking for answer. The answer are very difficult to have. If you find,
of course,
the answers or the answer, that would be wonderful. But just to put the question for me, the meaning to paint and everything is to share with people. And if I can bring this question to the people, you know, they can have a bigger view of the life in general. I mean, this existential question we're talking about, they encompass all humanity. It's not a question of gender, of culture, and it's how humanity privilege. That's why it's so precious, priceless. And if I can bring the people, the viewer who come to my show, to my workshop, to these questions time to time, this is what I want.
So we can talk a little bit about the performance. I've seen, I was very fortunate to come to one of your performance before the art. It's about freezing the action. There's a lot of motion and everything. Sometimes we film it and I can see that you're moving with the music and with the artists, with John and Meilin.
Yeah.
But when the painting is on its own, it's finished.
Yeah.
When I look at it, do you think it was that movement and all the sound and the vibration that you captured, or is it always something that you need to have before you freeze and give it a very silent kind of atmosphere now, you know, without the music, and everybody has disappeared, and we are looking at your art now. How do you want to convey that?
The performance you're talking about is a performance mixing live painting and music in live. So there is two local and very famous artists, local artists, with me for that. Meilin He, the pianist, classical pianist, and John Thomas, jazzman drummer. And the purpose is, I don't know if there is a purpose. It's experimental work, and it's to try maybe to find the beginning of a dialogue between these two expression of art, which are the music from a side and the painting from the other. And I mean, we told about vortex before and the meaning of the heart. If I talk with a musician or a dancer, if he's a true artist, we use exactly the same word. We use the words, I don't know, for example, balance, rhythm, shade, and there is a big link. So it's just an experiment to try to how we can do that and bring bridges together. At the same time, I mean, Meilin is from the classical piano and John Thomas from jazz. So there is two worlds.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm from the West, and they're both from Asia. This is two worlds bringing. You know, it's just the meaning is that, and to do it live and to see what is the result and to experiment.
In your early gallery, I think it was called like a emotive gallery or something like that.
Yes.
And so I think emotion is a very big agenda or element in your work. And sometimes you tell me maybe it is not anger, but there is something that needs to come out, you know. And so do you want to talk a little bit about this?
It's true. Emotion is very important in art and art in general. The music is the same. You need to put something into the music. And this is feeling, this is emotion. And it's a big fuel. But at the same time, you can bring another way to do it, more maybe intellectual. And this is the bridge between these two emotion, primal intuition of the body, and something much more with the intellect, the logic and everything. Always my painting I made from these two strata.
Okay.
You know, there is something very emotional, something more with the cerebral, and something, and yeah, I built my painting like that.
Okay, so how about giving, you say the strata, how do I come in? How do people, you put this layer, where do we come in? How do you want people to come inside your story, you know?
They come as they want. I mean, there is no rule. I don't know. I don't know.
You did through the shape, because I've told you before that when I look at some of your work, it reminds me of cities. I'm an architect. When I look at your work, it's kind of remind me of some of the things that you can see from above. And because you paint it from the top, I wonder whether there is a kind of image of a city, or do you see traffic, people in the streets, you know? It's a very aerial view, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like a map. I agree to you. It's a map to somewhere, but I don't know what.
Okay.
You know?
All right.
It means something, but exactly what I can't. I mean, art, visual art is you do it because you cannot express on another way.
Okay.
So as much as I want to explain it, I have not all the keys, you know. And this is the beauty of the painting too, because yeah, you can't control everything at the end. You can control the viewer, you can, you know.
Jonathan, thank you very much for doing this interview. I really enjoyed your answers and your response. So I think we should invite everybody to look at your fantastic studio and amazing paintings here on the wall. And I congratulate you for the event which is coming.
Thank you very much, Vaultman, and see you on the 2nd of June for the show.
Merci.
Merci.